everyone, I'm Kate Andrews, and here's a look at what is going on this week in the news. And we begin from the Vatican. Pope Francis presided over a Mass in St. Peter's Basilica October 12th in celebration of the canonizations of two pioneers of the Catholic Church in Canada. Pope Francis declared Saints Marie de l'Incarnation and François de Laval, two 17th century French missionaries, on April 3rd. During his homily, Pope Francis said that missionaries do enormous good for the world and the Church by bringing God's love to the far corners of the earth and by keeping the Church healthy and fruitful. Saint Marie was a French Ursuline who traveled to Quebec in 1639. She is known as the mother of the Canadian Church. Saint François de Laval, who arrived in Quebec 20 years later, became the first bishop of Quebec. More than 300 people came from Canada to take part in the Mass, which was concelebrated by bishops and priests from Quebec and Toronto. While the Synod on the Family is going into its second and final week, Rome Reports has updates on the bishops' discussions.
After analyzing some of the problems faced by families, the Synod participants are now looking for concrete solutions. Hungarian Cardinal Peter Erdo summed up some of the main themes discussed so far.
All countries shared a common ground with small variations in each one. Cardinal Erdo and his team did a great job giving us his perspective. It was a very positive account of the challenges and difficulties that exist in marriage and family life today.
13 married couples are taking part in the Synod. During the first week, they, along with other experts, call the bishop's attention to the troubles often faced before, during, and even after marriage.
Two great gifts of the Synod. The first were the married couples. They spoke like poets. Oh, they were realistic in knowing the difficulties, the sacrifices, the struggles of marriage. But to hear them speak of the love and the unity in their children. Gift number two, the bishops from Africa. A young church, growing church, young couples with children.
In the second week, participants will continue to look at more issues. Among them, the best way of helping married couples going through hard times. Also, how to improve preparation for marriage and how to deal with divorced and remarried couples.
I think that every change requires adjusting the doctrine as well. But I don't think doctrine will change substantially. We need to understand how to apply this doctrine to contemporary situations. So we need what we can define as a pastoral creativity. And each pastor must use it differently. Mercy is doctrine, and not just a psychological attitude.
This week, participants will divide into groups based on language. They will analyze and study the highlights of the midterm report presented by Cardinal Peter Erdo.
In news from around the country, as tensions rise once again in Missouri, Archbishop Robert Carlson of St. Louis is urging protesters to avoid violence. The protests were to take place not only in Ferguson, where African-American teenager Michael Brown was fatally shot by a white police officer this past summer, but also in St. Louis under the banner Ferguson October. In his October 10th message titled A Call for Peace in Our Community, Archbishop Carlson said that the sin of racism must be dealt with, but never with violence. The shooting in August gave rise to weeks of protest, violence in the streets, and looting and vandalism of Ferguson businesses. In recent weeks, there have been 3 other fatal police shootings in the St. Louis area. The most recent was October 9th, when a white off-duty St. Louis officer killed a black youth. The AP reported that police say the 18-year-old opened fire while the youth's parents claim he was unarmed. In news from around the world, the head of the Armed Forces of the Philippines is ordering all military chaplains to dedicate their daily rosary for the safe visit of Pope Francis to their country in January. General Gregorio Catapang Jr. gave the directive during an October 13th Mass at the military headquarters cathedral. He also asked all Catholic service members to pray a rosary daily for the Pope's safety when he visits the Philippines January 15th through the 19th. In September, reports surfaced that the Islamic State group announced it was targeting the Pope, possibly during his travels. Catapang said officials did not have information regarding any terror threat to the Philippines to Pope Francis, but a Manila-based security analyst said the government should take the threat seriously. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kate Andrews. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.